Hello YouTube, my name's Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and another weapon guide. This is actually the second weapon guide that I've done in Advanced Warfare. The first one was covering the ASM-1, which there's going to be a link to that at the end of the video. And today we're going to be covering the MP11, my favorite weapon in the game. If you guys are fans of the channel already, you guys know I love the MP11. I'm always preaching about the MP11 and how people should use it more and how fun the gun is to use. And I figured today, since it's my most used weapon, since I use it a ton and you guys know I love it, let's make a guide of the MP11. This is how I like to run my MP11, the different kind of variants I recommend, the different kinds of attachments I recommend, the kill streak subs, everything. Let's start talking about the MP11s. First and foremost, we're going to go into our Cray class here and make our MP11 class from scratch. So we're going to go over here to SMGs, go to MP11, and I have a couple variants. I'm going to be talking about different variants that you should be trying for when making an MP11 class. So first and foremost, your default MP11, it's fine. Of course, you want a better variant of it, but your default MP11 is fine. Don't be afraid to use it. It's definitely pretty nice. For the longest time there, before I got like the Goliath or any other good variants, I basically always used the MP11 Devourer. So what this did was it got rid of my fire rate by 2, but increased my range by 2, which actually made the weapon itself a lot better. So, right, because think of the MP11. What does it remind you of, right? It reminds you of the Mini Uzi, if you played any games that had like a Mini Uzi. If you played a lot of COD Ghost, it reminds me a lot of the CBJ, right? That idea, where basically it's a submachine gun that doesn't have a ton of damage, it doesn't have a lot of range, but what it does have is a crazy good fire rate, so it's very good close quarters, but not very effective outside of that close range, right? The MP11 Devourer variant actually made so you were a bit better at those medium ranges, so you can actually engage other SMGs like the KF5, the ASM-1s, the SN6s, who are on these guns that are generally considered to be a little bit better at ranges. This variant actually made so the MP11 could compete with that, because it made it a bit easier to manage by reducing the recoil, and it made it a bit more powerful by increasing the range. So that's definitely a nice variant to start you out if you don't have any other very good variants of the MP11. Of course, in my opinion, and basically the opinion of everybody, because I've been reading the forums, I've been watching YouTube videos on it and stuff like that, and a lot of people seem to agree that the MP11 Goliath is actually the best variant of the MP11 that you can find. So what it does is it's going to get rid of your handling by 3, which is essentially your hip fire, which is okay. It's still pretty good at hip firing, to be perfectly honest. And it's going to increase your damage by 3. It's pretty powerful. There's no magazine cut in half like a lot of the weapons that actually increase your damage. They actually usually like cut your magazine in half or something like that. It doesn't do that. It just makes it a little bit harder to hip fire. And so if you're actually ADSing a lot, if you're the kind of person that likes to aim down sight with your submachine gun quite a bit, this gun is going to be ridiculously powerful. It's going to increase its damage all the way up to 10. Of course, it's going to keep that crazy fire rate up there at 12. And of course, you still have the full mobility all the way up there at 16. So you're going to be zipping around the map. It's definitely a whole lot of fun. So best case scenario, you find yourself an MP11. Worst case scenario, you can use the default MP11 or maybe find yourself a little bit cheaper of a variant like the Devourer here. But of course, we're going to be going with the Goliath here in this video because that is my personal favorite MP11. And what's kind of nice about it is it doesn't actually give you any free attachments. So the attachments and the perks and the kill streaks I'm going to be recommending to you guys, you can use on just a standard MP11 class. Keep that in mind. Let's talk about attachments. We're actually going to be using a lot of attachments on our MP11, and this is actually going to require us to go over in here, and we're going to be using primary gunfire. So I'm going to be using 3 attachments on my MP11. I'm going to be trying to milk this thing for all it's worth. I'm going to be trying to make the most effective MP11 I can. First and foremost, I run foregrip. You definitely should be running foregrip on your MP11 in my opinion. What we talk about the MP11, it feels like a Mini Uzi, it feels like the CBJ. It's a very high fire rate weapon that's not very good at ranges and at distances, and what this is going to do is it's going to try to close that gap for you. It's going to try and make it so you're a bit more competitive with the ASM-1s and the SN6s and the other SMGs of the world that are better than you at these medium ranges. This is going to make it so it's easier to stay on target. Of course, if you have the MP11 Goliath variant, you're going to have, you know, a lot better damage. Of course, you're going to be a little bit weaker in terms of range, but still you're going to have an easier time if you're using foregrip on your MP11. Just trust me on that one. Next attachment, we're going to be grabbing extended mag. Extended mag on this gun's very, very nice. Think of the fact that the fire rate on this weapon is ridiculous. Think of the ridiculous fire rate on the MP11 and how often you're going to be burning through ammo. If you have extended mag, you can take on 2 people, 3 people, 4 people at once if you're good enough, and you have enough bullets to be able to do it because of extended mag. Grip and extended mag definitely recommended. For your third attachment, I recommend silencer. I really do. I definitely recommend silencer because what we talked about the MP11, we talked about so many times in this video, I've talked about in other videos. It's not amazing at those medium to long ranges. It really isn't. So you're going to try to get closer to the opposing team. And part of that is going to be not showing up on the minimap every time you shoot your gun, right? You're going to want that silencer on there. It's going to essentially keep you off the minimap. It's going to allow you to zip around the map as quick as you want because keep in mind, let's go back up here to the MP11. Your mobility is 16. That's kind of ridiculous. If we go over here to the shotguns are also 16, right? You're moving as fast as somebody that's running around with the TAC-19. It has the best mobility of all the submachine guns. You're going to be zipping around the map. You don't have great range. You have decent damage if you have the Goliath, but what the silencer is going to allow you to do is get closer to people very easily without showing up on the minimap, which is definitely nice. But keep in mind, you want to kind of tailor this a little bit to what you're playing, right? So if you're playing like a special event, or if you're the kind of person that likes to go ahead and change your class based upon the specific game mode and the map that you're playing, like you change up your classes very frequently, then you can of course swap out your silencer. You want to maybe swap that out for advanced rifling, which is going to close that gap even further by allowing you to have a lot more range, right? Let's say, for example, you're playing something like the Comeback 24/7 playlist, right? There's really no need to have a silencer when you're running around on Comeback 24/7. You might as well go with laser sight. You might as well go with advanced rifling. I prefer advanced rifling just for the increased range, and you might as well go for something like that. You might as well go loud. But if it's any other map, anything other than like Comeback or even on Comeback, you're really going to want a silencer on there. That's just my personal preference. The whole point of this video is giving you guys my preferences towards the guns and towards the attachments and the perks and the kill streaks, and that's what I like to run right there. Grip, extended mag, as well as silencer. Let's go here into perks. Perks are pretty basic, but we're going to be centralizing this around a little bit of a theme, which is trying to really kind of maximize your effectiveness while using this weapon. So first and foremost, we're going to be grabbing low profile. If you're going to be trying to zip around the map with your crazy high mobility, you're going to be trying to stay off the map, of course, with your silencer here, you're going to want to not show up whenever they call in UAV. That's pretty basic, pretty standard stuff. Number 2 perk, we're going to go with Blind Eye. Blind Eye is just going to make it so we're not going to be getting attacked by any kind of kill streaks that are in the air, or at least the AI ones. Of course, the player-controlled kill streaks, they can actually still shoot you if they see you, but still, Blind Eye is a very good perk. I don't think people really want to try and argue that. Then down here for perk 3, this is going to be pretty interesting. So for perk 3, I like to run Blast Suppressor. Very, very nice perk. I've talked about it many times. One of the best perks in the game. It's going to make it so you can zip around the map, you can dash and stuff without showing up on the minimap, as well as we are going to be rocking Hardline, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to decrease score streak cost by 100. Very, very powerful. So I think some people are overlooking Hardline in Advanced Warfare. You look at how great all the perks are here in perk 3. Hardwire, it's going to get you pretty much immune to those really annoying system hacks. Toughness, it's going to make it so it's very easy to outgun people. Blast Suppressor, keep you off the minimap when using exo moves. Scavenger for more ammo. Hardline for decreasing score streaks. All the good perks seem like they're here in perk 3, and for this particular class, I actually like to run Hardline. I do. I think Hardline is a very good choice for this class because what we're going to be doing is really trying to get some very powerful kill streaks in the air and trying to get them up there relatively quickly. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be running UAV. I like to run UAV here on this class, and actually run the support UAV just because it seems to be very, very simple. There's nothing really hard about running this. You run the support UAV, and then you run something maybe if you want to run extra assist points, it's going to allow you to actually get your kill streaks a little bit faster. And then aside from that, you can really go with what you want. Do you want threat detection so that it's going to paint enemies that are going to be showing up through the walls? Do you want the orbital version, which is going to basically make it kind of like it's a Blackbird in a way? You could go with that. Me personally, I like to run with speed just because I feel as though speed is one of the better ones, as well as it's very, very cheap. I think that's a big thing, is it's cheap. Now we have a support UAV that's giving us extra assist points, and it's going to be sweeping very, very fast on the minimap there. It's only going to be costing us 800 score, which is really nothing if you're playing something like Domination, something along those lines. For kill streak number 2, we're actually going to be going ahead and we're going to be rocking the system hack. I still feel as though system hack is one of the better kill streaks in the game. Even with the X not showing up, it's still one of the better kill streaks in the game, in my personal opinion. Very, very powerful. I love using it. You guys know system hack. It's very good. Use system hack if you guys haven't been using it already. And for kill streak number 3, very, very cheap, yet very, very powerful. We are going to be using the aerial assault drone, and we're actually going to be using nothing on it aside from rockets, which is very expensive. Keep in mind, very expensive. It's going to be making it cost 300 more, but overall, though, it's only going to be costing 750 score to actually acquire this thing. So if you guys haven't run the aerial assault drone with the rockets yet, it is so ridiculously powerful, so good. You just can really seem to take out everybody. You're basically flying around, shooting rockets on everybody, defending flags. It's so powerful. If you guys haven't tried out the aerial assault drone with the rockets yet in this game, I highly recommend you guys go ahead and do that because it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Definitely recommend that for all you guys out there. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the class. This is the class I run most of the time with my MP11. Keep in mind, it's Call of Duty, and I usually change change out my stuff based upon the map. Like, for example, if we're playing on Comeback and we're playing like a Comeback 24/7 playlist like we had a few weeks back, then of course I'm going to swap this out for Advanced Rifling, that kind of idea. Or maybe I'll end up swapping out Low Profile for Flak Jacket because we're playing on Comeback and I'm trying to defend the B flag like I do. What's the point of staying off the minimap? I'm going to be on the B flag the entire map anyway. We're going to swap that out for Flak Jacket. Maybe I'll swap out Blind Eye, and then I'll add something like Exo Trophy System. It's really about tailoring your class to what you want to do with it for that particular map. But yes, in general though, this is the class I run for the most part. This is really why I end up running a lot when you see gameplay of my MP11. It's using this. We got our foregrip, we have our extended mag, we have of course our silencer, we've got low profile, blind eye, blast suppressor, hardline, and for our kill streaks we're running the tried and true UAV system hack and aerial assault drone. And keep in mind, using hardline is going to be just your best friend in the world. It's going to be making it so you're calling in those UAVs constantly, you're getting a lot more system hacks, you're calling in a lot more aerial assault drones, which are very powerful, especially in objective game modes like domination, hardpoint, things like that, where you can just fly that thing over to the objective and just start blowing rockets everywhere over everybody. It's very fun. It's definitely a whole lot of fun, and that's what I do with this, because keep in mind the MP11 itself, even with the Goliath variant, is not one of the best guns in the game. It just really isn't. So to kind of compensate for that a little bit, I'm adding in the power of the aerial assault drone. I'm adding in the power of trying to keep the opposing team system hacked the entire time. I'm adding in the power of having the UAV up, as well as trying to stay off the map, of course, with low profile, as well as suppressor, things like that. Just every little tiny advantage I'm trying to get with the MP11. That's what I try to do with this class. I try to squeeze out every little tiny advantage I possibly could with this to be able to make it so I'm as effective as I possibly can while using the gun. And hopefully you guys found this class helpful and informative. Hopefully you guys can replicate this class when you guys get on tonight and start playing, and maybe have some success with it. That's the whole point of these videos, right? Is for me to play around with the gun, play around with different variants, try out different attachments, try out different kill streaks, try out different perk setups and combinations, and try and find a very effective setup to using that weapon. Then of course make the video, inform you guys of that so you guys can try it out for yourselves. That's the whole point. And it's a fun little video series I'm doing here. I'm not sure what our next weapon's going to be. I try to use the weapon quite a bit before I make these guides, of course. That way I'm not just making some crackpot guide where it's like, hey, so use this gun and use other stuff on it. That'll probably be good, right? I don't know. I try to use the weapon a lot. I try to get ranked very high in my combat record. Of course, I like to try out a lot of the attachments. I like to try out a lot of the different perks and kill streak setups with it, and just trying to make a very good, effective class. That's what I do here. It's kind of like theory crafting in a way, and it's pretty fun. I definitely enjoy making these kinds of videos. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys all found it helpful and informative, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel it deserves. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.